I want to start off this module with the 3 habits that are essential to getting attraction, creating awareness. The one thing that you're going to have to overcome, I had to overcome it, I'm assuming that you will as well, is that you're going to have to make this a regular habit. Meaning that in order to create attraction, you have to continue things over and over and over and over again. And one of the ways you do that is by being prolific. Now, I like to use the dictionary form. So, producing in large quantities with great frequency. Okay, so you got to get prolific into your head that you're going to be creating content on a regular basis. Now, we'll get into content later, but you have to recognize that you have to create an abundance of it. And you need to kind of think of yourself as your company and an arm or a piece of your organization, or an arm or a piece of your daily habits is creating content. Now, it can be challenging to come out with content all the time. I really try to do myself is to block Sundays. I try to block Sundays as a day I sit down and create content. Now, I do videos, but whatever it might be, whether or not it's articles, things like that, you want to spend some time and become prolific. So you got to get that into your head right now. You got to create a lot of quantity of content. Now, why? Well, at what point did your favorite musician become your favorite musician? At what point did your favorite actor, actress become your favorite? So, like, as an example, let's say it is Julia Roberts. When did she become your favorite? See, if she had just done one movie, she probably wouldn't be your favorite. If she never did any movies ever again, she would fall out of favor. So, if she continues to put out really bad movies, she'll fall out of favor with you. But if she continues to put out decent movies, they don't always have to be great movies, but decent movies, she will have her following, right? She will have her fans. You look at Adam Sandler movies as an example. You know, he has his fans. He comes out with a movie that's usually good enough with a certain amount of actors. They know so many people are going to watch that movie. They stay within a budget. They have a fan base. But at what point did you or somebody become a fan of Adam Sandler? Was it Happy Gilmore? Was it, what movie was it? So the same for you. At what point is someone going to become a fan? It's probably not going to be on your first piece of content, and it's probably not going to be on your second piece of content, but it's going to become at some point they're going to become familiar with you, and you are going to become somebody that they are aware of, that they think of on a regular basis, that they are a fan of. They like your content. They might not buy from you yet, but they like your content, and the only way you're going to do that is by an abundance of content. So you got to get prolific. The next thing you got to get is you have to become pervasive, okay? So spread throughout. What does that mean? It means you want to try to put it out to all the different social media outlets you can. You want to text it to people, email it to people. You want to put it on Facebook. You want to put it on LinkedIn. You want to put it on Instagram. You want to put it on Twitter. All these things. Now, they're not all necessarily the best avenues for you and your company. So you could argue that maybe Twitter's not the best for you, or you could argue that maybe Instagram is not the best for you. But where are your potential customers? That's what you want to recognize, and you want to identify that they are in these areas, or they're potentially in these areas. And so you want to make sure that you've spread out your content so that they can find you when you want. Now, again, if you are a global brand, then obviously you want to be very spread out. If you are regional, then you limit your pervasiveness. If you are in a certain demographic area, geographical area, then you do things within that area. But recognize you have to put out a lot of content, meaning it's got to become something that you do on a regular basis, a daily basis, a weekly basis, whatever it is, and that you do you pervasive. You put it out as far as wide. So you go consistently, and you spread it out wide, out into the marketplace. And finally, the other one is you need to be persistent, right? We all know what persistence means, right? You want to be constant, repeat it, okay? So prolific, pervasive, a lot of it, spread it wide, and do it all the time. Prolific, pervasive, persistent. If you can think that this is how you want to be, you want to create awareness, right? You need to recognize that awareness is your biggest competitor. Obscurity is your biggest competitor. People unaware of you is your biggest competitor. Your second competitor is once they know you, then do they think of you? So, the biggest brands in the world have spent multi-millions and millions of dollars to become part of our consciousness. Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Apple. How many times have you seen their stuff, their ads, over and over your lifetime, so that they become part of what you do? So that when you think, I'm thirsty, you think, I want a Coke, or I want a 7-Up, whatever it is. Or I want a burger, Wendy's, McDonald's, whatever it is. Okay, that did not come by them doing an odd ad every now and again. The good news is that it's pretty much free now, except for your time. So you need to recognize that you have to create awareness, and by being virtual and digital and with social media, you can do that very cost effectively. If you don't have the time or the capability or the desire, then find the funds to have someone do it for you. But do it, because it is the lowest cost of marketing that you can have, because you're getting your message out there, you're creating brand awareness, and that's what the purpose of attraction is. You have to make people aware of you. I'll see you in the next video. Okay, so what I do want to do is spend a few moments to talk to you about LinkedIn in respect to positioning. Now, remember, positioning is prospecting, prospecting is positioning. So you want to assume when you are prospecting on LinkedIn that a lot of people are going to check out your profile. They're going to go, who is this person wanting to connect with me, or wanting to have an appointment with me, or wanting to do this, or wanting to do that. They're going to go to your profile. So what you see here is my profile. Now you'll have yours. Now it's really worthwhile spending a few moments to make your profile look good. Now, how do we do that? Well, I'm going to show you a few things. All you have to do is just go to your home page, right? Just go to your home page, and then over here on the left, you see, right? And boom, there we are. We're at our home page, okay? So what we want to do is we see that we have all these different sections, and there's these little pencil clips, okay? And that just means that you can edit. So as an example, I can now edit this section. And so what you want to do is, what's your name? But then you want to make sure, what do you want your headline to be? So, think about that. You're positioning yourself, but what do you want it to be? Now, there's company pages too, and we'll briefly go into that. But what do you want it to be? So, as an example, what do you want to be known for? So, cleaning. So, you might have something like detailed cleaning experts of the Midwest, or you might want to have disinfecting specialists for South Carolina. Whatever it is, make it something specific and something that makes you stand out. don't put things like proven history of whatever. Everyone has a proven history of whatever, right? So just make it stand out. So remember that you're trying to position yourself as the go-to person, position yourself as somebody that is professional in one thing, okay? Boom. What is it that you're doing? Your detail cleaning, your floor care experts, your disinfecting experts, your janitorial experts for the Midwest, whatever it might be, okay? And then you just follow through here and just answer the questions and fill it out on your education and your work history. Now, the reason why you want to fill out the education and your work history is because if you, let's say, worked for a big, huge company at one point in your life, then if you enter that in, it's going to find people that worked for that company as well, and so it helps you build your connections. Now, you may or may not want that. It might not be relevant. It might be a completely different industry now, and it's not relevant for that. However, it's something to consider. So I just want you to recognize that you want to follow this along, and then any content you have, like any videos that you have of your company or of yourself, any articles you've been in, like me with this thing on cold calling, you add it in. It just kind of gives you a position, right? It's positioning you as an expert, and that's all you need to do. Go through, do your experience here, and don't worry too much about it. I mean, you can get to this later, but create a nice header here, which I'll show you in a little bit on a program that you can do this virtually in 10-15 minutes. But make sure you fill out your profile as best you can, and it's centered around what you do. For me, I'm the creator of revenue production marketing. So that's what I want to be known for. That's what I'm trying to be known for. That's what I specialize in. So, and that's what we're talking about here. So remember, LinkedIn is a positioning tool as well. So set this up so that you can be positioned properly. Forward with the prospecting on LinkedIn, and we know that we have done our search. We've done Vancouver, Canada. We've done connections 1, 2, and 3, so people were connected to, second connections, and third connections, right? So now we are going to narrow down our prospecting. So let's look at that. So we have this Ned Gubrick. So let's check out Ned Gubrick. We click his profile, and a few things you're going to notice. Number one, new right away, he just has the standard header here. So they're not that prolific, or that they're not on LinkedIn a lot, just by their profile not being done, by having no picture, okay? But we're also going to see by having no connections. So you don't know much about him, but what we can do is go to Google, and we can go Future Janitorial Services, Vancouver, BC. So Future Janitorial Services, Vancouver, BC. Let's see what comes up. Not a lot. There's some, it looks like there's a video. I don't see a website yet, but okay, so let's just click this. This is the first thing that comes up. Janitorial. And so here we have found a phone number, we have found a website. Let's click the website, and there we go. So we know that they are probably a legitimate business. They look like it. They have some information about them, and they have an email address, and they have a phone number, they have an address, and so they look like they're probably a pretty good opportunity, even though they're not that prolific on LinkedIn. So we can use this as a potential prospect. So let's go back to LinkedIn, and there we go. And you're going to see, well, we talked about that they don't have much information here. We can share their profile, we can message them, we can follow them, so if they do something on LinkedIn, we'll know. But this person is not too active on LinkedIn, so let's not bother. And there is no information on LinkedIn, so Ned has not put any of his information on LinkedIn. So if we want information, if we want to reach out to him, we're probably not going to get too far on LinkedIn, but we have his information right here, and we can simply click and create an email. Now, there are templates that you can have and other things, which is a topic for another day, but now you have a template here. I would have a cut and paste, press send, and reach out to them as to who the person you would speak to is, which we'll get into in another time. So we go back, and let's go back to our LinkedIn search. We're back to our LinkedIn search, and we can just kind of look at all the different prospects out there. And what we want to do now is we want to connect with them. So if they're a first connection, it's easy. If not, then we want to connect with them, and it's always best to give a personal connection request. So if I click this, I can just send now. So I can just send now. I'm going to do that to show you. So it's not personalized. It's just a very quick way to connect with somebody, and they may accept the connection. However, another thing you can do is you can spend a little bit more time, and you can do a personal request. So let's go in, and let's look at, I'm just picking anyone random here. Let's go to Rudy. Oops, it's not going to work. Let's go to Annaby, janitorial be clean, and connect, and we add a note, right? And so it's always more better to do this. We want to connect with them, and we would just go, hello, thought it would be great to connect. Right? You might want to put their first name. Better yet, just do a cut and paste. And there we have it. We are prospecting on LinkedIn. So now we have done outreach, but let's go back to Annaby and let's check out their profile. Again, only 2 connections, so probably not a lot here. See, there is nothing. So what we want to do is we can do a lot of prospecting from LinkedIn. Remember, we've searched them. They're going to check out our profile. So we want to have a profile that talks about what we do and what we specialize in. What we're trying to do is reach out to these people to create leads and opportunities for ourselves. So let's stop there. And I'm going to go into some hacks in a moment to show you how we can expedite this process a lot faster. I'll see you in the next video.